What if I told you that one political move could tip the entire global economy off balance? That a single announcement, made in front of flashing cameras, might ignite the most dangerous trade war of the century? Sounds dramatic, right? But it's happening, and fast. Donald Trump has just threatened BRICS with staggering 150% tariffs if they move forward with a new currency system that dares to challenge the dollar. This isn't just about tariffs or trade. It's a full-blown economic showdown. Now think for a second. Why is the U.S. so terrified of losing dollar dominance? What are BRICS really planning behind closed doors? And most importantly, how could this shift affect your money, your future, and the way the world works? You're about to discover a side of global trade that very few people even know exists. And once you see it, you'll realize this isn't just news, it's history in the making. And here's the kicker. If these countries truly unite around a shared economic vision, they could form a bloc powerful enough to challenge decades of dollar dominance. We're not just talking about shifting currencies, we're talking about flipping the script on economic influence. And you, my friend, are now part of the few who know how deep this rabbit hole might go. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't settle for surface-level news and wants to stay 2 steps ahead of the crowd, hit that like button and subscribe right now. This channel isn't just content. It's a passport to understanding the move shaping tomorrow's world. Then came the thunder. In March 2025, Donald Trump stepped back into the spotlight and dropped what might be one of the boldest moves in recent trade history, a threat of 100% to 150% tariffs on all BRICS nations. Yes, you heard that right. If they dared to launch their currency alternative, they'd face a tariff sledgehammer. It wasn't just policy, it was war drums wrapped in economic sanctions. Trump policy once again showed its trademark flair: loud, unpredictable, and anything but diplomatic. The message was crystal clear: mess with the dollar, and you mess with America. But here's what makes this moment historic. It wasn't just aimed at one nation. This was the first time a U.S. president publicly threatened an entire economic bloc with such aggressive tariffs. That's like drawing a red line across a continent. And with that, the game board of global trade shifted, possibly for good. You could almost hear financial analysts choking on their morning coffee. This wasn't just a tweet or a bluff. It came from a podium in Washington with flashing cameras and stern faces. Tariffs at that scale could strangle entire industries, hike up consumer prices, and provoke tit-for-tat retaliation. And yet, the move wasn't just about economics. It was psychological warfare. BRICS was getting too close, too fast, and Trump policy decided it was time to draw a hard boundary. But when you back a wolf into a corner, it doesn't back down, it bares its teeth. Now, here's where things really start to burn. Trump's threat didn't just shake BRICS, it stirred the entire cauldron of global trade. The world watched a subtle shift in tactics. Instead of the old playbook of divide and conquer, this time it was unite and I'll hit you all. And that sent a signal loud and clear. The rules of the economic game were being rewritten in real time. Tariffs, once a diplomatic tool, were now full-blown weapons. Financial markets don't like uncertainty, and let's face it, Trump policy thrives on it. The threat of tariffs at that scale didn't just make headlines. It made allies nervous and rivals curious. Could this be the final push BRICS needs to accelerate its de-dollarization plans? Because let's be honest, nothing unites a group faster than a common enemy. And Trump had just handed them one, gift wrapped in threats and economic sanctions. It's ironic, really. What was meant to scare might end up strengthening BRICS unity. The fear of a currency alternative becoming real might actually turn it into reality. That's the catch with bold moves. They echo, they ripple, and sometimes they backfire. If you've made it this far, you're clearly not just another passive observer. You're someone who sees beyond the surface. So here's the deal. Subscribe now and stay with us, because the deeper we go, the more you'll understand how the world really works. When the dust settled, each BRICS nation started to show its hand. Russia and China? Oh, they were ready. For them, de-dollarization isn't just strategy, it's survival. With sanctions weighing heavy and geopolitical isolation looming, ditching the dollar became less of a choice and more of a necessity. Their appetite for a currency alternative grew louder, more visible, and far more coordinated. India, on the other hand, played its cards close to the chest. A country balancing ties with the West, but also investing in BRICS? It's walking a diplomatic tightrope. While not openly rebellious, India has made subtle moves, like settling oil in rupees, that hint at quiet alignment with the bloc's economic goals. Brazil and South Africa, meanwhile, are somewhere in the middle, publicly questioning dollar hegemony while still trying to keep friendly ties with Washington. This patchwork of motives makes BRICS fascinating. It's not a monolith, but a mosaic. And yet, when faced with collective pressure, that mosaic could harden into something surprisingly unified. What happens when different nations with different problems start seeing the same solution? They start acting as one. And when they do, the foundation of global trade, once built on the dollar, might just start to tremble. Let's not sugarcoat it. Tariffs of 150% are the economic equivalent of dropping a piano from the roof and hoping no one gets hurt. Analysts everywhere are ringing the alarm bells. Such steep tariffs on BRICS countries would hit supply chains like a freight train. From raw materials to microchips, the ripple effects would strangle the U.S. economy just as hard as it would hit the others. Inflation? Through the roof. Imagine walking into a store and realizing everything, from food to electronics, costs way more than it used to. American companies that depend on imports from BRICS members will be stuck in the crossfire, with rising costs and plummeting profits. Tariffs might sound tough on paper, but in real life, they can start fires you can't put out. And Trump policy, as history has shown, isn't known for playing it safe. What's more dangerous is that this economic strategy assumes BRICS won't respond. But retaliation is almost guaranteed. And when multiple global players start lobbing trade restrictions at each other, we're not talking about a disagreement. We're talking about a recession. A full-blown, global-scale mess. And here's the kicker. We might already be standing on that slippery slope. In the shadows of this tension, BRICS is not just reacting. They're planning. Behind closed doors, discussions of gold-backed trade, regional payment systems, and a BRICS bank are picking up steam. These aren't conspiracy theories or wishful dreams. They're real-world mechanisms being built brick by bricks. And they aim to do one thing: loosen the grip of the dollar on global trade. Countries like Argentina and Saudi Arabia are circling the bloc like satellites. Their interest isn't just economic, it's strategic. They see BRICS as a platform to escape Western economic sanctions and join a system that offers more balance. The expansion into BRICS Plus could reshape the global economic order in ways we haven't seen since Bretton Woods. This isn't just a pivot, it's a power shift. Every new member, every signed deal, chips away at the idea that the dollar is untouchable. And for the U.S., that's a terrifying thought. Because when BRICS starts to offer a genuine alternative, others will follow. What began as 5 nations could become a movement. And when a movement gains momentum, it becomes almost impossible to stop. You poke the bear bites back. BRICS isn't planning to sit quietly while Trump swings the tariff hammer. Early whispers suggest they're preparing retaliatory tariffs of their own, especially targeting U.S. tech giants and agricultural exports. The logic? If the U.S. wants to weaponize trade, BRICS will return fire, and maybe, just maybe, with better aim. The danger here is escalation. Each side believes it's acting rationally, but rational actors can still spiral into irrational wars. If China or India strike back, or if Brazil clamps down on soy exports, the global economy could skid into chaos. Prices would surge, jobs would vanish, and confidence in the so-called stable global system would crumble faster than expected. And this isn't just about economics, it's about influence. Tariffs and sanctions are the new missiles in this war. But unlike real missiles, they hit everything and everyone. This kind of all-out trade war could make 1970 stagflation look like child's play. Which brings us to the final domino in this chain reaction, the very fate of the dollar itself. Here's the elephant in the room. Is the dollar still the world's safe haven? For decades, the answer was yes, without hesitation. But now, things are getting murky. If BRICS succeeds in building a trusted, practical currency alternative, and if global confidence in U.S. stability continues to falter, that 60 to 70% dollar dominance in global reserves could start to slide. And when trust erodes, it doesn't happen slowly, it crumbles. Investors begin hedging, central banks diversify, and soon, countries once loyal to the dollar start eyeing other options. That's how de-dollarization becomes real. Not overnight, but one decision, one deal, one move at a time. Ironically, Trump policy may be fast-tracking the very decline it's trying to prevent. So what happens if the U.S. is no longer the economic center of gravity? The answer isn't clear, but one thing is, the storm is already brewing. Whether it turns into a light drizzle or a full-blown economic hurricane depends on what happens next. And if you're still reading this, congratulations. You're officially smarter than 99% of people who have no clue what's about to hit the global stage. If you made it to the end of this video, you're not just someone curious about world affairs. You're part of a select group that gets it. While most people are still stuck reacting to headlines, you're already connecting the dots. You now understand how something as invisible as tariffs or a currency alternative can shake entire economies and challenge long-standing powers. That knowledge? It's rare. It's powerful. And believe me, it's just the beginning. So, what do you think? Is Trump's tariff threat a bold defensive move, or the spark that accelerates de-dollarization for good? Can BRICS really reshape global trade? Let's talk about it in the comments. I want to hear your take. Because when we share perspectives, we grow smarter together. And remember, this isn't just one fascinating fact among many. This is the kind of insight that elite minds, powerful players, and strategic thinkers track obsessively. If you want to keep expanding your understanding, surrounding yourself with the kind of knowledge that elevates lives and decisions, subscribe and hit the bell. Your journey into the real game of global power is just getting started.